Lifetime Achievement Award. There's a few people to pick from. This is a tough one because last year I gave it to Detroit Shock legends Swin Cash and Tweety Nolan. But this year I got some people to pick from. I got Brittany Griner. Yeah. Oh, let me break down the Lifetime Achievement Award. The Lifetime Achievement Award usually goes to a big athlete that I met in that past year, right? So that's why last year Swin Cash Tweety Nolan was like my pick. But I can't decide, y'all. This year I got to pick. Brittany Griner's an option. We all know Brittany Griner's story. Politics aside, whether you thought she should have came home or not, she went through it, right? But also not only politics, but one of the best WNBA players of the past decade, you know? So Brittany Griner's an option. My favorite WNBA player of all time, Asia Wilson. That's an option. Met her this past year. One of my favorite Detroit boxers, because I know when we think Detroit boxing, we think Joe Louis, we think Tommy Hearns, or Michigan boxers in general, because I can expand it to Floyd Mayweather or James Toney. But outside of like catching like the second half of Floyd's career, the Detroit boxer that I grew up on, that was like world champ for me when I was, starting to watch the sport, Tony Harrison. So he's an option. Met Tony. Claressa Shields, the GOAT, the greatest women's boxer of all time out of Flint, Michigan. So continuing that Michigan boxing thing, she's up there. Met her. Cover her, shout out Claressa Shields. She did a lot for Big Time Boxing, because that's the promotion. Under Salida promotion she will fight under. That's the event name, Big Time Boxing. But she did a lot for Buff Those Sports, is what I want to say. Some of my most viewed videos, TikToks, YouTube shorts, reels, whatever you call it, had to do with Claressa Shields this past year. So, gotta give her some love.
Hey, it's your girl Claressa the Glow Shields, and I'm here with Buffed Up Sports.
But I think I'm gonna go with a boxer who got one of my favorite boxing matches of all time. He definitely got my favorite boxing round. He's a part of my favorite boxing round of all time. And if you ain't never seen Marvin Hagler versus Tommy Hearns, then you need to check that out, because round one is the greatest round in boxing history. You want to talk about two guys that just go at it like they hated each other? Like, it wasn't none of that let me feel you out, skip the feel you out process. It was like a video game. Just smash all the buttons you could think of, and we just gonna hope something land. Like, that's literally round one of Marvin Hagler versus Tommy Hearns, the good description of it. So, with that being said, we talking Detroit boxing legends. Yes, Tommy Hearns stands at like the top of the food chain, if you want to ask me. And just being able to meet him, like, the man was on Martin, the TV show. You know what else I gotta say? But I bet, and not only did I meet Tommy once, I actually met Tommy twice this year. So, and both times, great interaction with them. Therefore, honestly, my Lifetime Achievement Award. Hey, the man, one of my favorite boxers of all time. I'm going with Tommy Hearns, y'all. Detroit legend.